Hemen, your view on the market and the move that we've seen today, probably all shorts are trapped?
Yes, we saw a little bit of drying up, Pankaj. But one thing is slightly perplexing in the sense, I think, if you see, last whole week almost, the Nifty has been shedding open interest. Now that was a bit surprising. Having said that, it's a bounce, Pankaj, and it's going to be a worldwide bounce. We'll see Dow Jones opening positive and probably ending positive. Most of the world markets, Nikkei, Dow, DAX, FTSE, they all seem set for a small recovery. And we are also part of that. Maybe we're leading it because we're ahead in terms of time. But I don't think 79.24 will be taken out easily. So sustainability at higher levels is still suspect. And 8,000 seems like a tall order. So as of now, like you said, maybe shorts are trapped. So, and stocks like Reliance, which had been hammered down so badly, I mean, they were all oversold. They were all due for a bounce. Something like a Jet is breaking out fresh. So now that is a different matter altogether. But the Nifty seems in a corrective recovery. Sustainability still remains question mark.
Right. So you would probably want to take a call on the sell side from here on, or just wait for the short covering rally to continue? I mean, maybe today for the next half an hour or tomorrow for 1-2 hours.
I think, like you said, Pankaj, it should spill over for the next couple of hours tomorrow. And if we appreciate in the first couple of hours, I don't think we'll end positive at the end of the day. So I think that's the time to take a call on. But one, avoid stocks with results. Things can go completely haywire. So stocks which have had their results, I think then one can look at it favorably. But currently, I think it's too early to short and too late to buy. There's nothing particularly which comes to mind.
Sorry, it's too early to
short, even from a shorter term point of view, because this recovery is not yet exhausted itself, Pankaj. Like you said, tomorrow couple of hours. Worst comes scenario, maybe till tomorrow afternoon or maximum Wednesday morning. But I think tomorrow first couple of hours should be finito for the time being.
Right. How would you essentially look at Bank Nifty from here on?
Nothing particularly, Pankaj. It is showing exactly what the Nifty has done. Yes, some of the stocks like State Bank were oversold, maybe even an OBC. So they are all recovering. Now, having said that, from a medium-term point of view, whether it's ICICI Bank or Axis Bank, okay, Axis Bank particularly, now they don't look particularly bad. Now we've had a very strong comeback, a decline, and now we are bouncing back. So if we take out the recent intermediate highs and continue, Pankaj, then everything is fine, hunky dory.
Which is that level?
In terms of Axis Bank, that level comes to around 485.
Which was the results day?
Yeah. Move. So if it closes and sustains about 485, I think then the move which started from 365 odd is still in motion. We saw halt or a correction or a movement consolidation on the daily chart. The weekly still seems sanguine enough for a further upside, but like I said, we need to take out the earlier high and sustain above that.
Hemen, we were just talking about HUL. It slipped below the 200 DMA. It's at 840 levels. What's your view?
We have been moving sideways with a slight positive bias, but now we walked into a 3-week correction, Pankaj. Currently, if it holds on to 840 in the near term, that is positive. But I don't see any earth-shattering movements happening. Yes, if it comes to 830 or something, I think then one can look to take a contra call and go long. But if you look at the monthly chart, it's corrective in sell mode. If you look at the weekly, it's sideways. There was a positive bias which now seemed to be slipping into a neutral territory. And short term, we are in a short term downtrend, which is not yet over, but we are getting oversold.
Let's talk about some mid cap or not so mid cap and between the large cap space names. Let's look at Reliance Capital. Volumes are very high. It's looking in very good, back to the levels of 410 plus. Would you be a buyer into this name after the recent move of 6%?
No, I don't think so. Let's stay away from the counter. It's ultra volatile. It doesn't.
Right, but Reliance Capital has done well.
Yeah, but it doesn't sort of behave according to the way I look at technical analysis. So I would prefer Reliance.
No, I mean, what is the sense that you're getting? Till where can it go? Okay, you may not be a buyer, but what's the level to watch out for?
Okay, we have a minor top at around 410, 412. Now we just almost there. We are in this range between 377 and 412. We are above the 55-day exponential moving average. Funny thing is, we gave a downward bar reversal last week, Pankaj, which is technically a weak sign, and we go galloping away today. So, by simple logic, we are set for a 35 rupee up move from here.
Hemen, any view on Reliance Infra? Probably these are the only two names where there is some interest now in the ADHD pack.
16 trading session downtrend, Pankaj. Oversold situation at 510, obviously. Now we moved up sharply from there. So we were sort of in a correction. I mean, we are bouncing back. The bigger picture remains slightly positive on the longer term charts. Medium term, we walked into correction and we are retracing the fall. Yeah, things would change positively if we take out 585 on the weekly chart and then sustain.
If we take out
585.
That was the Jan high as well, right? As in the first Jan high, before which the markets were on a high note.
That Pankaj was around 622. This 585 thing was around on the 12th of April.
Okay, on the 12th of April. What is your view on Reliance Industries? Again, till results, the name did very, very well. After results, we've seen continuous selling. Today, it's up 1.5%.
Short-term oversold, overdone. A bounce was for the asking, which has happened, and this bounce could bounce some more.
Right. So, what's essentially the bounce? I mean, till where can the bounce go? Would you be a buyer for this bounce or just avoid?
One, I wouldn't short. I would have bought in the morning, but maybe it's not too late. Maybe one can keep today's low as a stop loss. 990 is one level where we can expect resistance. After that, resistance comes in at around 1005, 1015, 1020 and 1040. So this fall has been from 1070 to 967, Pankaj. So even if you take a simple retracement, I think we are heading towards at least 995 or 1005 unless the market misfires big time.
Right. Just on another note, there's a fundamental call also that has come in for Reliance Industries. CLSA has maintained their buy. It was already a high conviction buy at CLSA. They maintained their buy. Their target price is 1350, which means they have about 35% plus sort of an upside. They expect Reliance Jio to launch between October and September 2016. They are building in for that in their estimates, and by FY 18-19, that's 2 years down the line, they expect them to break even. That's the Jio business. Of course, it's a very strong cash flow company, but the Jio business, they expect it to break even. Retain their high conviction buy as far as Reliance Industries is concerned. Even another name that has been in news has been Adani Ports. Results came out on Tuesday, and in the last 3 days, the name has just crashed from 240 to 190.
Downside appears to be limited, at least for the time being. There's been a lot of volume happening, Pankaj, today. In fact, around 9:40 in the morning, there was a block on the BSE for around 17 lakh shares, which is surprising. We're in the midst of a bounce, which is not yet over. One gets a feeling that in the extreme near term, it's overdone, and a recovery which is at a slightly nascent stage should have done better with the market doing well. Hasn't. I think the volume on the counter seems to suggest that some latent selling which is still on. Otherwise, I would be slightly more positive than negative, at least from a near-term point of view.
Hemen, what's your view on Titan? Looking at the results, you got a sense it may fall down, but actually it's flat with a positive bias.
From a medium-term point of view, we are sideways with a positive bias, Pankaj. This range has been on for around 7 months now. 302 on the downside and 390 on the upside. So we are neither here nor there. There have been a few attempts at a breakout on either side, which hasn't fructified in anything. But one still gets the feeling that despite the results, things are slightly more positive than negative. From an extreme near-term point of view, the 55-day moving average comes at around 352. I think if that doesn't break, it's positive. And if it takes out 375 and 385, I think that could be the onset of a surprise upside. So not very conclusive after 7 months of a sideways movement. Maybe but whatever is there seems slightly positive.
Right. How would you look at Jet Airways? I think you like that name. What's your view on Jet Airways?
We've seen a four and a half week sideways consolidation from which Jet has broken out today very clearly on significantly higher volume. The breakout level on the cash market was around 645, Pankaj. So it's had a one-way move today. I'm not sure if it will follow up in the same vein, But on technical parameters, we are heading towards 680 or so.
Right, 680.
Yeah.
So it's probably quite close to that. If anybody is buying now, what is the stop loss one should keep?
645.
Right. For Jet Airways, one should keep 645. Do you think Interglobe, SpiceJet, all of these names would move up?
Okay, Interglobe, there is not that much of data to go on, Pankaj. But if you look at SpiceJet from a slightly longer term point of view, yes, SpiceJet is in an uptrend. And in that uptrend, we walked into a corrective phase. It could go back to 85, come back to 55. Simply put, I think it could take a quarter or two of doing nothing. Simply because we moved from 17 to 95, we are digesting the rise. So simply put, we are consolidating. Post that, I think maybe 6 months or maybe 9 months down the line, SpiceJet seems to be setting the stage for a move to 105 or so. So from a longer term point of view, yes, it looks positive.
Right. Aditya Agarwal from Way to Wealth is also now joining in. Aditya, any view on Jet Airways or aviation stocks?
Afternoon, Pankaj. Well, if we see Jet Airways, then for last 3 weeks, this stock was consolidating in a range of 615 and 640-45. In today's session, stock has given a breakout from this range, and with this, stock has added almost 10% shares in open interest. So overall structure for Jet Airways is looking good. We are expecting that the stock may test the 695 to 720 levels in short term. However, today only stock has seen a sharp movement, so I would advise to buy this stock on dips. If the stock comes in the range of 655, 650, that is a good level where one can initiate long positions with a positional stop loss of 620. And on higher side, one can expect target of 695 to 720.
Right, 695 is what you are looking at. Hemen, any view on Z Entertainment? It's up 5%. Always, just ahead of results, the name tends to do well, and then you see upgrades, and then the stock goes into a sideways movement.
Yeah, I think that pattern doesn't look like changing even now, Pankaj. We've seen almost 8 months of doing nothing. Once again, large range between 350 and 440 doesn't look as if it's going to break out on either side.
Right, but do you think results, which has been the trigger earlier, can continue to prove as a trigger? Because in the last 3-4 quarters, has only moved in and around the results.
Yes, I think, if you look at the very longer term charts, yes, we are in an uptrend, Pankaj. But yes, I think results could be the trigger that you're talking about. Yes, otherwise it remains slightly docile.
Right. Aditya, what's your view on Z Entertainment? We are just 20-30 rupees away from a high.
Well, I think Z will continue to see some resistance in the range of 435 to 440. Means today stock has seen a good movement, but again means if we see an open interest side, stock has not added any significant amount of open interest. It's only 2% addition which we have seen. So it still means we are not seeing any fresh long positions getting built up into Z. It is merely a short covering which we are seeing in last 2 days. Which we see stock has corrected from 420 levels to 395 levels, and today we have seen only a short covering move. So till the time stock doesn't close above 440 levels, a fresh long position at this level is not advisable. It's either buy around 400 levels or buy above 440, but at current levels, one should avoid making long position in Z Entertainment.
Right. Hemen, any view on future retail? It's not a part of FNO series, but it's done quite well in the last few days. Today is also up 6%, 27 lakh shares in terms of volumes for NSE.
It's in a 3-year range, Pankaj, and despite best efforts, somehow it hasn't broken out from this range. So if it has to break out, I think we need to take out 170, and this range has held from mid 2013 up till now, Pankaj.
Right. So you would still wait for that range to break out.
Yeah, it doesn't. There is a positive bias to the stock if you look at the longer term chart. So I think one cannot rule that out, but I would prefer to wait for the breakout, because after 3.5 years and multiple attempts, if it still doesn't break out, might as well wait for the breakout, though it might be a bit late in the day.
Hemen, any view on Just Tire?
It seems to be tiring. I think this move from 370 to 900 has almost run its course. We walked into overbought territory. We've already walked into a correction, Pankaj. So currently, I think it's in a no trade zone. It would take some time to consolidate. And yes, if it has to continue this, it's very far away. But I think the support at 760, we need to take out 900 if you're going to see anything significant on the upside coming in.
Right, it has to take out 900, which is still quite some level away.
Yeah.
Aditya, any view on Just Dial from the FNO side? Any data that you can pick up? It's a very heavily traded name.
Well, Pankaj, if we see Just Dial, then on around 900 level, there was a crucial resistance level, and from those levels, we are seeing some profit booking in the counter. In fact, in today's session, stock has added fresh short positions. Stock has added almost more than 7% shares in open interest. So overall, for the short-term perspective, if we see, then I think stock is still in some corrective mode, and on the lower side, it can test 680 levels. So definitely, this is not a time to make long positions in Just Dial. If a stock's big 730 on lower side, then it can test 680 levels. So I think it's like better to sell on rallies kind of stocks rather than buying on dips. As of now, stock is definitely not a buy trend, and one can go short below 730 levels.
Right. Aditya, how would you look at Bajaj Auto? It was up 4% today. Majority of the move came in the second half.
Well, Bajaj Auto, we see then from 2600 levels, some profit booking was seen in the counter, and with this, we also saw some short position getting built up in last 3-4 trading sessions. And today, the move which we have seen is purely a short covering move. Still, we have not seen any fresh long position getting built up in Bajaj Auto. And on higher side, if we see then 2600 to 2620 is a very strong resistance zone for this stock. And above that only, I would recommend to make long position. Again, at current levels, the stock is having multiple resistance. 25, 50, 60 is a resistance, and again 2600 is a resistance zone. So again, stock has already given a good move. So now doesn't make sense to make long position in Bajaj Auto. One has to wait for right price. 2500 to 2480 is a good price where one can go long, keeping a stop loss of 2430. And on higher side, price target will be 2580 to 2620.
Right. Hemen, Bajaj Auto, after a 4% move, how is it looking?
From a longer term point of view, Pankaj, it's moving in a symmetrical triangle on the long term charts. I think this is not a short term call, but maybe 6 or a 9-month call. The breakout level comes in at around 2600 odd. We're setting the stage for a move to 3200. But it's going to take some time because it's already taken, Pankaj, around 2 years, and it still hasn't done anything decisive. But I would be bullish. Shorter term point of view, I'm not sure. We cooled off from 2610 to 2435. We're seeing this bounce, so it doesn't mean much because we've been within this range for 2 years, Pankaj. So till there is a move, it doesn't mean much. But whenever the move comes in, looking at the situation now, I would hazard a guess that it's going to be positive, and it could give you a 15 to 20% upside over the next year.
Right, but you would not be largely in a hurry to buy. That's what I can get a sense from your answer.
Yeah, I'm not very positive on the market itself, and like I said, Pankaj, after 2 years, if it takes another 6 months and comes back and tests 2200, which is the lower boundary of its range, so it would be self-defeating actually.
Right. Hemen, let's talk about Emami. It's not an FNO name, but how would you look at it? 10% in 2 days. It's not a small name, even though it's not a part of FNO.
900, 1075, a 5-month consolidation, volume breakout, above 55-day moving average, long-term uptrend in place, intermediate correction seems to be coming to an end, a corrective bounce within a bigger correction, within a bigger uptrend. So as of now, bias is positive. We've had a mad run up from 50 to 1350, Pankaj. We are digesting this rise, we are consolidating, and within that we are seeing a recovery coming in. So it could do this, it could remain positive and remain within the 900 to 1350 range for the next year. But there's a distinct upward bias to the stock, and the longer term uptrend, I think, still remains intact.
Right. Aditya, any view on Emami? It's not a part of FNO, but has done phenomenally well in the last 2 days.
Well, I think correction in Emami is almost over. Means 900 was a very crucial support, and stock has respected that support level multiple times. And from those levels, we have seen huge buying. In last 2 days, stock is already up 10%. But overall structure for the stock is still good. And for a long-term perspective, I expect stock to test 1250 levels to 1300 levels. So again, means one can buy at current levels also. Any decline in Emami towards 1040, 1020, again, it can be used to make long positions with a stop loss of 900. And in short term, in the medium to long term, one can expect target of 1250 to 1300.
Right. Hemen, how would you look at Dabur in that context and HUL? HUL, of course, we've spoken about it, but Dabur, that has also done very well after results, and maybe Marico as well.
I think most of these stocks are in longer term uptrend, Pankaj. If you look at Dabur, it's been an uptrend since 1997. If you look at HUL, I think that too has been in a longer term uptrend since 2004, and if you take the actual long term uptrend, we are in an uptrend since 1988. So most of the stocks behave very differently from the rest of the market, Pankaj, in this space. And Marico has been uptrend since 2001, so they all are in multi-year uptrend. So these near-term things won't change much, and they continue to move on like juggernauts. So the bigger picture remains positive. From the near-term point of view, HUL has been corrective, so it's moving sideways. That's consolidating, while Marico and Dabur are even in medium-term uptrends.
So they are playing the catch-up role.
Yeah, now it's like musical chairs, Pankaj. Now once this stock moves, once that stock moves, but the overall underlying theme is they all are in at least 15-year uptrends, if not more.
Right. How would one approach the PSU banking space now? Union Bank was up 4%. Some of the other PSUs have not done that well.
I think you need to take it case by case. Bank of Baroda is the strongest of the lot. Now, if you look at Union Bank, its low of around 100 was tested in 2008, 2013, 2014, 2016. So they're deeply oversold. From that point of view, the downside appears limited. If the intermediate lows of the last 3 months break, there'll be pandemonium. But nothing of that sort is visible as of now. But one gets the feeling it would take some time. I wouldn't be bearish at this point in time, but it doesn't. They seem to be meandering. But the only positive, if any, is that they are so oversold. It would be very surprising for them to tank miserably from here.
Aditya, PSU Bank, specifically Union Bank?
Well, I think we can see some fresh buying in all the PSU banks and as well as private sector banks. Means if we see, we have seen some profit booking was visible in last 5-6 trading sessions, and today we have seen some short covering in almost all the banking counters. Union Bank on lower side, if we see, then 113.14 was a support level. From those levels, stock has seen a pullback in today's session. Again, means on higher side now 124 is the immediate resistance. If that is broken, then stock may test 135 levels. But yes, from current levels, bias is positive, and I would recommend to make long positions if it breaks 124 in futures with a target of 135.
Right. Even just sticking with the financial space, HDFC was up 3%. It's up 10% in the last 3-4 days.
It hadn't been doing anything for 12-14 months, Pankaj. So it decided that enough was enough. And from a longer term point of view, 1990 and 2016. So 26 years and counting. So near term, yes, the bias has turned positive. We were in this range between 1060 and 1175. Pankaj, we've already taken that out decisively. I'm not sure how much risk reward ratio is in favor buying fresh currently over here, but long term picture remains positive. It's actually given a breakout from this range of 1060 and 1175 today, Pankaj.
Right. Aditya, what will be your view on HDFC?
Well, on HDFC, our view is positive from current levels. Means if we see this stock, this was a hugely underperforming market in a big way. It was trading in a band for last couple of days, and today's stock has given a breakout of over 1170, 1180 levels. With this stock has added almost 4% shares in open interest. So we are expecting the stock will continue its up move, and on higher side it may test 1260 to 1275 levels in short term. So it's a good stock in which if someone is already investing, they can continue to hold. If someone wants to make long position, then 1180, 1190 is a good level where one can initiate fresh long positions. Keeping a stop loss of 1155. On higher side, one can expect target of 1265 to 1280.
Right. Aditya, thank you so much for taking our time for us. Hemen, always nice to talk to you.